Hello everyone, welcome back to another real life video. Yesterday, on November 1st, I got access to a Japanese bullet train depot located in Hakusan, Japan. This depot is for servicing the E7/W7 series bullet trains that operate the Hokuriku bullet train line. This was a somewhat highly exclusive event. There were quite a few people there, but you could only get in via lottery, and I was the only foreigner there as far as I could tell. So what you're going to see is probably the only footage on the entire internet of this event that's in English, which is pretty insane if you think about it. Yeah, so I got to go. Weather there was pretty stormy when I got there. There was even saw a tornado. I'm not joking. There was an actual tornado. But luckily it didn't it was just over water and didn't cause any damage. And I know you're all leaping down into the comment section. If a tornado's over water, it's called a water spout. I'm just calling it a tornado because people know what that is, okay? So yeah, and this first image, we had just gotten in and we were waiting in line to try something out, which I will explain later. So this is one of the first areas. It's basically for servicing individual power cars. Those green cranes there's four of, if you put four of them together, you can lift up a bullet train car, get underneath and service them. Like, they're individual cranes for the cars. It's very interesting. In this part of the facility, they keep individual train bogies ready for maintenance. On these bogies, the electric motors, the air suspension, and the wheel apparatus itself is all built into one individual unit. Despite the lottery system limiting the number of people who could go, there was still quite a few people there. I would estimate well over 1,000 in total. The reason I was standing in line for those first few pictures is because I was wanting to experience what it was like to go down one of the emergency exits they have provided, and that meant walking through a separated passenger carriage. I was not able to get footage of me walking down the emergency exit, though suffice it to say it was pretty narrow and I almost fell over. So yeah, next up we have this, which is some sort of gearbox. Not entirely sure how it works. Got a close-up of one of the bogies with the emergency exit car that they were using in the background. Further up, an employee was demonstrating how the pantograph works. For some reason, they just had a dissected nose cone sitting there. There was this thing that was acting as I want to say like a one-directional turntable, just went from like side to side for parts. I think for like parts transference between buildings. And it looked a lot older than the facility itself for some reason. Also, food trucks and merchandise sellers were doing a roaring trade with all the people around. In the next section of the facility, some of the employees were setting up a literal tug-of-war with one of the front-end cars. We asked one of the blokes there, and he said one of these front cars weighs around 50 tons, so they had to get about 100 people, including like small children, to drag it. And they, to their credit, they actually did drag it. They actually managed to get it moving, which is pretty impressive. The Hokuriku Shinkansen logo, which I think actually looks pretty stylish. And it says West Japan Railway Company. This unit runs in both West Japan and East Japan Railway Company jurisdictions. When it runs in East Japan Railway Company jurisdiction, it's known as the E8. In West Japan, it's known as the W8. That's the unit designation. I don't know why they chose to make it that confusing, but there you go. Next up, the JR guys were taking the power car that was acting as the tug-of-war vehicle and moving it back and attaching it to a forklift. So, in the event of the car not being able to stop, the forklift would be able to help stop it. These cars, the cars that are powered, can actually function as independent units while on battery power, and they can also be remotely controlled, which is, as you will see, the coolest thing I think I have ever seen on a railway. A bit further up, they had an unpowered car suspended on a crane so visitors could see underneath. Outside, the skies had begun to clear up. Toward the end of the tour, we finally arrived at the main unit storage area. The facility's resident snowplow, which, now that I think about it, has to be one of the only diesel standard gauge units in Japan, because if you didn't know, Japan's normal lines run on 3-foot 6-inch gauge, while the bullet train lines run on standard gauge. So yeah, this is a pretty unique unit. One of the depot's little carriage shunters. And at the front of the little consists that the orange shunter had, they had a front end car so people could take pictures with. And as a finale, I caught this Ishikawa Railway 521 series electric multiple unit heading toward Kanazawa at the railway crossing near the facility. And so yeah, that finishes off today's video, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. This took a long time to edit, so I'd appreciate you hitting that massive subscribe button. It's free, and you can always change your mind. Goodbye.